What's up guys, it's Ryantium here, and today we are in Stellaris Console Edition taking a look at Synthetic Dawn. Now Synthetic Dawn adds what you see in front of you right now, the ability to begin your game as a machine intelligence, which the one you're looking at right now is one of my favorites, the Robo-Boy Extinguishers. We are a Gestalt consciousness, we are a machine intelligence with a rogue defense system kind of government, but we are also determined exterminators and rapid replicators. Now the one thing that you don't see there are the traits, and that's what we're going to go over in today's episode, in today's kind of video type thing. So we won't be playing with the Robo-Boy Extinguishers. Instead, we're going to be taking a look at the traits that the robots have access to, because all of these traits are completely unique to those that are the organic. Organic, you've got your own traits. Machine, you have your own traits as well. So let's get into each and every single one of these and break each one of them down. So power drills. Power drills gives you 15% more minerals from your jobs, and if you've played on PC or if not, don't you worry, because I'm going to lead you through all of these. Power drills add 15% more minerals to your jobs, which means all of your jobs that are producing minerals will produce 15% more, which is a positive in everyone's eyes, or it should be at least. Now, what exactly is this one really good for? Well, it's great early on for giving you a nice boost to your Empire's mineral production, because in 2.2, your economy becomes much more stable and much easier to control. It's not as much of an obstacle as it was in 1.7. I mean, look at how far we've come from 1.7 to 2.2. It's a really great change. So the minerals, having extra minerals means you can build more buildings on planets, you can help to build more robots, you can help to build all sorts of other things, because now, instead of building ships out of minerals, it's now out of alloys. But in order to make those alloys, you need minerals. So it's definitely a good idea to have this trait if you're looking to have a nice economy rush in the beginning. Superconductive is the same as power drills in it that it adds 15% to a resource, in this case being energy. Now with the extra energy credits at the beginning of a game in a Machine Empire playthrough, you're going to be at an advantage, because robots, they don't need food, and playing as a determined exterminator, they definitely don't need food, so you're going to be spending your energy on feeding your pops. And when you're feeding your robot pops energy, that also takes away from the energy that you could be using for upkeep for research labs, or alloy foundries, or the Unity producers, everything like that. Everything takes energy, whether it's trading, ships, pops, buildings, every goddamn thing takes energy. So the more you have, the better off you'll be. Now, efficient processors is an interesting one. Resources from jobs plus 5%. I had to make sure that this was true, but the 5% actually adds it to research and alloys and strategic resources as well. So if you're producing strategic resources on a planet such as gases, motes, and crystals, you'll actually get 5% more than you would if you didn't have this efficient processors trait. But that also stands to increase your technology. And one of the things that I always like to do with efficient processors is use LogicEngines, because that basically gives you plus 15% from all of these researches, and then it gives you a plus 5% with your energy, your alloys, your minerals, your food, your consumer goods if there's any. But like I said, machines don't use consumer goods or food, so it's only for the first three. It's a great one to have, and that's why it's so expensive. At 3 points, it's definitely the second most expensive one that you can have in the game. In fact, I don't think there's any plus 4s. No, there's no minus 4s on a machine intelligence, but if you take a look at an organic empire, they do have a minus 4, which is the most expensive ones. But this is the most expensive machine trait because it adds that base from the beginning 5% to all of your resources from jobs. So it's definitely one to have if you want to, maximize the amount of stuff that you're doing. But honestly, I would save this one for later. When you get the robo-modding technology, add this one in when you have, the machine age, or you've, researched a bunch of things and you have a negative that you want to take out and add a positive in. This is definitely one to get later, mid-game and late game to really give your economy just that tiny little extra boost. It's a nice thing to have both in the beginning, middle, and end. Now, LogicEngines is one of my go-to traits. In fact, it's probably the one that's always on all of my machine empires. And it's because it adds that flat 10% bonus to all of your research. Your society, physics, and engineering from the beginning all have more output. And more research means more powerful ships, better economy, better bases, better planets, Papa John's. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's a very good one to have, honestly. It's a very self-explanatory one, and it's one that I think a lot of people should use, especially if you're wanting to do a tech rush. Having that extra 10% at the beginning, not to mention finding anomalies that can boost your research speed, as well as different technologies that can boost the research output of your scientists and or, stations, the research stations. It's a very, very powerful one to have at the beginning. Now, double-jointed, moving away from the resource production traits that are specific, we're looking at housing usage. Now, housing usage can be sometimes a double-edged sword. If you use less houses, that's great. That means less nexus districts, that means more food producing, or not more food producing. I am a machine. More mineral producing, more energy producing, all of these different districts that you can use. You can put more of the raw resources and not have to worry so much about the housing districts or the nexus districts. But at the same time, it takes away, 1 point that you could possibly use for something else. Whereas with bulky is plus 10% housing usage, and both of these are such tiny additions or such tiny bonuses or negatives that I tend to use this one as a go-to negative. If I need a point or two, or if I need a point rather, I tend to go with this one because the extra housing usage, it's fine. It just means I need to build nexus districts that create amenities. And with amenities, you have more resource production. And it's great. Enhanced memory increases your level cap by 2, your leader level cap by 2. Now this is not the same as starting the game with leaders that are 2 levels above. This is just saying that the cap of the leader's level is default at 6. This raises the default to 8, meaning you can go past 6. And because Machine Empire leaders, they're immortal, you'll be having leaders for much longer. Now they can still break down, but it happens less often, especially if you spec into one of the traditions. So this one, not necessarily one that I use. If you're going for something with role-playing with enhanced memory, maybe you have a super intelligent, logic engines with enhanced memory, super intelligent race of machines, then that's pretty cool. But honestly, it's not one that I would use alone. I would, however, use it with this, learning algorithms. Learning algorithms boosts your leader experience gain plus 25%, and because it's only 3 points, you would only need 1 or 2 negatives to go along with that. In fact, you might only need 1. So, you can use enhanced memory, but I wouldn't use it alone. It seems like a waste if you use it alone. So the learning algorithms, it would go along with that, hyper-intelligent machine race. But it's a good one to have if you use both of those. Then we get to emotion emulators. Now, emotion emulators produces one of the other most important resources in Stellaris, and that's amenities. I know a lot of people, they tend to just forget about amenities, but amenities below 0 is a bad thing, because when you have low amenities below 0, then you start to get crime, and then crime turns into low stability, and then low stability turns into not a whole lot of resources coming from jobs, and then that can turn into a whole bunch of garbage. So having more amenities from the same buildings you're going to build anyways is a great one to have. Not to mention, with only 1 trait point being used, that's a humongous bonus. 20% amenities from these damn jobs is a really great bonus. Then we have Uncanny, and Uncanny is the opposite of emotion emulators, and that is because it gives you 20% less amenities from your jobs. And nothing says, I want revolts on my planets more than having 20% less amenities on your damn planets from the same buildings, or at least in my opinion. So this one, if you absolutely have to take it, but try to stay away from taking this one. Then we have durable and high maintenance, both of which they dictate the upkeep of your robots. Now, durable, minus 10% robot upkeep, high maintenance, plus 10% robot upkeep. This is based on how much it costs to keep them running, the energy cost to keep them running, not the cost to build them. The cost to keep them running, which is in energy, will be modified with this. So the negative 10% upkeep cost is great, especially if you pair it with one such as superconductive. You get more energy credits from jobs, and you pay less for your pops. It's a nice little combination that you could do to really ensure that you're keeping your energy in your pockets and not in the joints of your pops, But then high maintenance adds 10% upkeep, which can be offset by using something such as superconductive, but at the same time, these two, if you take them in the beginning, it's fine. You can either robot mod them in, or robot mod them out later on down the road. Then we have learning algorithms, and learning algorithms we touched on briefly with the enhanced memory trait, but the plus 25 experience gain is nice if you combine it with one like this. You probably won't run into too many issues, especially with the machine intelligence, of trying to level up your leaders. As long as you're doing anomalies, as long as you're, not putting them in danger's way, as long as the researchers are continuing to research over and over and over again, you won't have a problem getting higher level leaders. So, the 25% experience gain, that's great. If you want super high level leaders and you've got a great one in the beginning, that's a ton of luck. But it's just not one that I tend to use. But this one, repurposed hardware, minus 25% leader experience gain, is normally one that I'll always use, because like I've said, I don't really see an issue with getting the experience for the leaders, even though it'll be at a 25% less rate. With the amount of anomalies out in space, with the amount of things that you're going to be researching, it's kind of insane. It doesn't even matter to me. So that tends to be one that I use if I need a negative trait. Then we have mass-produced. Mass-produced and custom-made are two of some of the most important traits in the machine empires. This dictates how quickly your pops will be assembled. Similar to the organic ones in that you have growth speed, machines have assembly speed made at the pop assembly plants. Being able to grow 15% faster on all of your planets is a lovely bonus, because you have to remember, all machine empires, the machines themselves have 100% habitability on every planet. Doesn't matter if it's a tomb world or a tropical world. You have 100% habitability on all of those planets. So, if you're growing faster on all of those planets, your colonies will get going that much quicker, giving you an edge in economy. With custom made, however, you're going to be growing 15% slower, which is a nice knife in the neck. But at the same time, if you need a negative, and you haven't, you haven't taken this one, or you need one, custom made might be the one for you, because you can robo-mod it out early as long as you get the techs. That's the thing. The RNG, the random numbers, generating everything behind the scenes. If you get the tech to robo-mod it out, do it as fast as possible, because then you'll be neutral with your assembly speed. You won't be handicapping yourself. And last but not least, we've got recycled and luxurious. So similar to the custom-made, mass-produced, and the high-maintenance and durable, this is all about the pops. So we have assembly speed or assembly cost minus 20% and assembly cost plus 20%. Both of these dictate how many minerals a month you're going to be spending on either pops that you're growing, or assembling rather. So it's important to keep this in mind, that if you want, very quickly produced robots as well as very cheap robots in the beginning, these two are kind of a no-brainer to go with. Not to mention, you can really start to spec into a couple things and combine it with a civic called, do I actually have it? I do. Rapid Replicator, pop assembly speed plus 20%. If you were to take Rapid Replicator as well as having mass-produced and recycled, you would have 35% assembly speed at the beginning, and you would have 20% assembly cost. So you'd be spending 20% less and building something 35% faster by doing the same thing that you would normally do. It's a very powerful combination for those two. And having all three, perfectly done. So that's kind of everything that you need to know about the machine traits. There will be a video on the organic traits for all of that stuff, as well as the civics for all of the machine empires and everything like that. Whether you're a determined exterminator, a rogue servitor, or a driven assimilator, we will be going over those in future videos. So if you enjoyed today's video, definitely make sure to park it right here, grab a sub, grab a like, whatever you want to do. And if you want to check out some other videos, down there in the description, there are a bunch of good YouTubers down there who make amazing videos, amazing content, all focused around Stellaris, whether it's on PC or Xbox or PlayStation. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.